Oh, to be home again, down in old Virginia, with my very best friend, they call him Ragtime Willie. Hiya people, I've just come in for the evening now. That's enough for me. It's starting to rain, very wet rain, you know. It's obviously all wet, but I mean that fine stuff that you don't realise you're getting soaked. So I've changed my clothes yet again. This is a different black top, and I just thought I'd kind of report in before I start cooking my tea. Yes, breakfast, dinner, tea. That's what it is round here. And supper, if you're hungry. Supper isn't your main meal of the day. That's a little bit posh for me. Anyway, so I've been digging again this afternoon. It's been Saturday, and I forgot to mention a few things actually on the last vlog. So, but just let me get this out of the way first. Now, where I am, it's as you dig down, of course, there's topsoil to remove and the turfs, and then you're into the subsoil, which is about 2 spits down, which is pretty good actually for around here, quite deep soil. And then you're more or less into clay. The subsoil, that's what the subsoil is. It's ram clay, and it's pretty good stuff. I'm not going to start throwing pots, but I've no idea whether you could or not with it. I think that it has to be a kind of fine. Anyway, I don't know, obviously, but it is very claggy. I know it sticks to my boots and to the wheelbarrow wheel, so it doesn't go around anymore. So I'm just throwing them up at the moment. I could deal with it as long as I get it out of the trench I'm digging. I could deal with it later on. But once you get past the clay, it's shale. Well, there is a little bit of sandstone here and there, just before the shale, but not much. No nice blocks or anything. No, just sort of slivers, flat, and anyway, it's not much good for what I'm trying to do with it. But the shale is a very common feature on the coast, which isn't far from where I am now. Really, it's about 7 miles in a straight line, I would think, something like that, 7 or 8. Maybe not even that. Closer to 7. They're quite famous, the cliffs just down the road, or yeah, down the road. I think the tallest cliffs in England, and they're 666 feet. I don't know what that even means, but so I don't for 1 second think that I'm passing on some symbols. Anyway, I know if you go to a metal concert, you'd do that, yeah. But I think the heaviest band I went to the Reading Rock Festival in 1983, so I've seen a lot of metal bands actually, yeah, and bottles of piss flying through the air. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yes. So as I'm digging down through the soil, subsoil, clay, bit of stone, shale, I found a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the shale. Amazing. Now, what do? I don't really know the next step. Should I phone a university or some paleontologists? I don't know the number of any. I haven't got a phone book. I can't really look up any in the phone book, or directory inquiries may know. Of course, I haven't found a Tyrannosaurus Rex or any kind of dinosaur. If I did find any bones, fossilized bones, there would probably be an animal that we already know, because that's just how it is. Dinosaurs didn't exist. There is absolutely no proof of them. You can see lots of them on the telly or in films, and you'll see on the telly paleontologists talking about ones that they've found and dug up. But you can also hear Buzz Aldrin talking about when he was walking on the moon. Very similar in that it's all lies. So now then, what I forgot to talk about was, I don't know how it slipped my mind, but when I got a hold of this downloader and downloaded a few things, one of the things was Beyond the Imaginary Curve, and Del and Marshall being very concerned, because it looks like their channel is going to be pulled. YouTube don't need to give reasons, and they can just do it and give no explanation or a false explanation. I suppose it's their software or whatever, and so okay, but obviously it's the content that's upset them. The content being, what Del discusses is the objective reality of where we live and natural science. And it's let me just say, I also downloaded the one where there's quite a few, but the one where Mick, an Irish gentleman who was an engineer, was talking about lots of things, but he's dead right. And then Gav came and sort of verified his description and his maths, and now that is a good episode. That is an episode that you could show to somebody, play to somebody, and if they were a ball believer and never heard of flat Earth, or just on the outskirts of it, then it would really make them think. And also, Del's dealing with some prick who phoned him up. I don't know, I couldn't even work out what they were saying, and Del sort of got it in the end, I think, but I didn't. I never got it. I couldn't tell what they were saying. But he's absolutely right when he says this is the southwest of Scotland. You've got to do better than that. And I know, I've lived obviously in Scotland and around and abouts, and I know that, he very rightly says, you've got to do better than that. One, to offend somebody from where Del's from, and you've got to be sharp in your mind to be able to compete with what Del's going to come back at you with. And I also downloaded, yes, that's correct. Downloaded a couple of things that Harry Crowler had, a couple of videos that he posted, and I didn't realise, but they were what Gav and Del had put together, and he's simply mirroring them. It's quite difficult to say, mirroring them as, and well, it's a very high probability that the site won't even be there now as I'm speaking. So all that great stuff has gone. And Del said something about it's all in the past, but yeah, it is all in the past, of course. But there's such valuable stuff on there. Somebody could even, not me, but somebody might even be able to sort of chop the, what did you say? What was that? Sort of all that unnecessary stuff and just keep the real valid content, because there are so many great people that have been on and spoken to Del, and Del, what Del has to say needs, well, it needs airing, and it also cannot be destroyed, or shouldn't be destroyed by YouTube. And I think what Del was saying about they're really piling on the globe bollocks on the BBC, on the radio, Radio 4, and etc. That they really are. They're pushing the boat out with it all. And this year is obviously 2018, but next year, 2019, is going to be 50 years since they filmed. Well, they may have filmed it quite a bit before, but since they released the film of the moon landings, the first moon landing, in July, I think it was, 1969. So you can bet your ass, unless all this comes out, and I hope, by God, I do. I hope it does. I hope people will just laugh if they suggest that there's some kind of an anniversary event for the moon landings, because obviously they're not real. I am astounded that people still think that man has gone to the moon. And when I say man, when I ever say man like that, it means capital M. Although in this case we were only 12 Freemasons that went. I don't think women were accepted into the lodges at that time. I know that they could sort of do things on the outskirts of it, because I know a couple of girls who have done this. And anyway, best not go into that really. So that's why they were all men. Of course, they had to be big, brave men, didn't they? To go up there. Fighter pilots, test pilots, that sort of level, James Bond almost level. But now they can be fat little bastards. Well, they're all line bastards, but there's no physical fitness required to blast off into space. Well, I suppose what do they call it? Catering at these filming, when they make films, the catering is always pretty good, I understand, for the extras and the actors. And so when that little fat ball bastard went up there, some Kelly, I think his name was Scott Kelly. Is it Scott Kelly? And he must have been, scranning on down there on a daily basis, because I'm surprised he could get in his spacesuit to come back. And I'm surprised they didn't need a much bigger set of parachutes for him to come down, pretend to come back down in Uzbekistan or wherever, somewhere completely out of the way. So, and landing on the Earth, like not in the sea, but on the Earth. Yeah, all right, yeah. Like anything does that. There's only hot air balloons that actually do that, and parachutists everything else comes into the ocean. You know, that men are on. I mean, that men are on. I know the drop jeeps or you know, I don't know, some small, but you know what I mean.